KISW.
Please welcome to the show the American Dragon himself, Daniel Bryan.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And how about WrestleMania? I mean, of course, that is the grand. I mean, that is the World Series. How is? I mean, that's got to be. I mean, when that's got to be just trippy.
I'm actually thrilled to be a part of WrestleMania this year. Last year, I was actually supposed to wrestle Sheamus for the United States Championship, and it got bumped off the pay-per-view to be the opening dark match, which is something that's not aired live on the pay-per-view. And it was really disappointing, really heartbreaking. And now, here we are a year later, and should be, if everything goes as planned, it should be me and Sheamus for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania in Miami, and I'm absolutely stoked.
Now, if everything goes as planned, you're kind of making me nervous. I don't know.
Right, well, you never know what's going to happen between now and April 1st.
Well, how many times does Sheamus call you fella in a day?
I know, that's awesome.
Whenever I interview him, it's like every other word. Okay, fella.
Yeah.
I had to bring up this one story because I know that you've wrestled in the independent circuit for many years and you suffered many injuries over that time just because it's a crazy world that you're living in. This story came out yesterday about an independent wrestler who ruptured his testicle in a match last June.
Whoa.
And he's now suing the other wrestler and the promoters because, well, they had to remove his testicle.
Oh, whoa.
And they're seeking, I guess he says that he might have erectile dysfunction, loss of testosterone, loss of sex drive, and health consequences. I'm like, that's got to be the worst injury known to man.
That's a hard hitting injury.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's worse injuries, but I mean, there's more there's not many more that are less, emasculating than losing a testicle. So.
Especially the crowds could be vicious. You know something's going to come out about that.
Well, and especially now, if he wants to continue on wrestling, he's going to be known as the one bald wrestler. Like, he's.
I think that actually is a great character.
Yeah, and you know what? If I can use the vegan thing, he can use having only one testicle, and people will hate him and be like, "Look, I've only got one testicle, and I'm just as good as all of you." You know, like it could be really good. So.
Wow, there's
awesome.
There's some storylines waiting to happen. Well, Daniel, I have to ask. I mean, he's suing the other wrestler. Have you been in situations because you're all trying to get to this stage? Mm-hmm. You're all trying. So are there guys that will just fight dirty in order to make themselves look better to get, and hopefully the WWE will go, wow, if I beat the hell out of you. I mean, I would imagine you guys all realize that you're actually trying to show what great performers you are. How will you sue the other wrestler if you intentionally think he actually hit you right in the boys? Yeah,
you know what? Nobody does that kind of stuff intentionally, or very few people do.
That's what I'm thinking.
And the people who do intentionally do it aren't going to get to this level. And so I can't imagine the other guy. I'm sure it was just an accident, and that's,
I would hope.
Yeah, and the whole lawsuit thing, our country is lawsuit crazy, you know, and that kind of hurts my soul a little bit that a guy who's a wrestler would sue another guy because you have to know that that's an accident. Things happen, so.
And finally, because obviously people, like you said, when you started out, they would think, well, you don't have the personality, you're too small. But you're in the ring with guys like the Big Show. Mm-hmm. And, you've got to do stuff with those guys.
Yeah, so, Mark Henry, too. I mean, these aren't small dudes.
And that's what that's what I think. All right, that tests your mettle of a person anyway. I don't care how tall or not tall you are. You're in there and you are flying around with these guys. I'm wondering, how is that the toughest thing you have to do? Is to be overmatched in size and still do all these acrobatic and amazing maneuvers that you have to do?
Well, yeah, it's tough facing guys that are that big and doing it inside steel cages and elimination chambers. My body the last several months feels like it's aged like 3 years. so yeah, it's a brutal part of the job.
Yeah, when you talk about that, I wonder what's tougher, an NFL career or wrestling on the body, which a lot of folks don't realize. You guys work hard.
Yeah, we're on the road over 200 days a year. I mean, I literally just got back from Central America on Sunday. Dang. So I flew from Guatemala to Portland, did Portland the show yesterday, drove from there to here, do the show in Seattle tonight. But then I get a whole 3 days off.
There you go. Yeah. We can do it all that time.
Right.
How about that?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that is just insane.
Yeah.
Well, we're always proud when somebody from our area goes out there and makes it happen. And when you tell us your story about, like you said, your size and people just telling you, I think of a guy I think of as Dustin Pedroia, another guy that's achieved so much as a small guy, and he was told in baseball, you'll never be anything. And he's like one of the dominant players in the MLB. And it's great when somebody like you also says, hey, look, you know what? All you got to do is just do it. And, if you can do it, and you're living proof, and we're so proud of you, man. It's awesome.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Oh, one last stupid question. You ever give CM Punk a hard time because you used to have that old school independent wrestling T-shirt that said the best in the world, and now he's got the T-shirt
and you
that
know
says
what?
best in the world.
You know what the hardest thing about that is that so Jericho was doing the best in the world thing for, but that was after I was doing it in 2005,
right.
And so but that logo that's on the back of Punk's shirt is almost an exact copy of the best in the logo that it was on my shirt in 2006. You know what I mean? So I've never given him any crap for it or anything, but in the back of my mind, it's there.
I smell a future feud.
Right.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. Well, tonight you got to check out Daniel and the rest of WWE SmackDown.
I'll be in the front row. Look for me. Give me a high five.
I'll try.
And I'll yell yes with you.
Wait. You can hide behind him if you need to.
I'll take a bump from the Big Show.
Right.
I'll protect you. There you go.
Daniel, thanks so much for schlepping yourself in, and congratulations, man. It's awesome.
Oh, well, thank you for having me.
The BJ Shea Morning Experience on 99.9 KISW.